Hi, I'm going to do a little sewing tutorial for you today. I refer to this as the Easy Bands method. It's also known as the Hem Hop method. I choose not to refer to it as the Hem Hop method because the terminology doesn't always work out. So I have a couple of things to note before I start. First is that if you're choosing to use this method, with a cotton lycra or something that's a thinner fabric, this is going to really work out for you and it's going to be a big time saver. But something like a French terry or something thick and fleecy, it's not going to work out as nicely. It's not going to look as crisp because it's got to go through so many layers and it just kind of gets pulled out of proportion and doesn't look as nice. You can definitely use a sewing machine with this method. I choose to use my overlocker because I use my overlocker for pretty much everything when I sew. So that's what I'm going to use in this tutorial. For bands, the types that you can sew, it's going to be anything that's a fold over band. So your typical arm and leg cuff, or a waistband or a neckband even, you can use this method with. So let's begin. I'm going to sew a arm cuff. So I have my cuff here, that's just my fabric cut out. And I'm going to fold right sides together like I would normally. It's all curling up on me here. So typically, what I would normally do is sew this edge right here, but in this method you're going to fold it down one more time. And I like to sew starting at the folded edge because I find that it keeps everything together. And what I do is I take my thread scissors and I push it in here. I lift my presser foot. And I also lift my overlocker blade. So I just turn the knob to make sure that the blade is up. It's not off. It's not in the off position. I just want it up so that I can push my fabric in underneath as far as I absolutely can. So now I put my presser foot down. And you're going to sew using the normal seam allowance that your pattern calls for. So now you have a piece that looks like this, and it's going to be just your folded piece. Now you have a serger tail that what I normally do with this is I fish it through with a needle so that it goes all the way up to the top, but you can tie it off or do whatever you want with it. I do it this way because then all of the tails, the thread tails, are up at the top, and when I sew the band on, everything just gets cut off. So then you're going to take one of the outside layers and you're going to open it and push the seam through. And what you're going to end up with is your finished band. So that's just your arm band that will go on like so. So your one seam is all enclosed, just like that. So it's very simple. It takes, much less time. It takes less thread, half the amount of thread. So you're saving time, you're saving thread. It's really been a great little trick for me. I learned how to do this through the Self-Sewn Wardrobe. You can look them up. You can also look me up. I am Sewing with Rascals. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Thanks.